if you wouldn't mind, would you let us know how to pronounce your last name?
Echo Piria Damwa Ampia.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really lovely.
Okay, now we're up for our first speech given by Mickey Kazam. But first we're going to have Julie Stevenson, her evaluator, go over her speech objectives. And Julie, you can do that from your seat.
Okay. Mickey's title will be An Unusual Morning. The speech will be 9 to 11 minutes long. And her objectives are to speak clearly, not too fast and with not too many uhs, and to have it interesting and entertaining.
Thank you, Julie. So now Mickey will give her first speech, and before she does, I'd like to share what she had to say on self-compassion. Mickey says, "It is important to have self-compassion, even when you're irritated at yourself." Mickey.
Thank you. I'm going to try to be scrupulous in my remembering what I'm going to talk about today. It happened on a Monday morning. I was just finishing my a cappella rehearsal with my group at Temple Isaiah. And I was ready to go home and change into my gym clothes and go to the gym for a workout. So I drove home and I came to my street. I live on Burlington Street. It's a long, circuitous street. There's just 2 lanes, and the street is parallel to 128. So it's one street in from 128. And I see on the street there are police walking. There's no sidewalks. So the police are walking all over the street. There are police cars with blinking lights. And I'm thinking, what's going on? So of course I had to stop. I want Rod to see this. So I stopped and I asked a policeman, and he said, there's been a robbery in Waltham. 2 robbers robbed a bank, and they drove off and into a car, and they crashed on 128, right near where my street is parallel to 128. So they said to me, what are you doing here? I said, I live on this street. They said, well, just go slowly, which of course I had to do unless I would run over all the police on the street. And I got home. I went into the house, and I got into my gym clothes. And I thought, I'm going to look out the window, and I'm going to tell the police that Willard Woods is right around the corner, and that the robbers may be right in the woods. Of course, the police know. There were Lexington police, there were state police, there were federal police, the SWAT team was there, the dogs were there, there was a helicopter overhead. So I opened the window. Now, my bedroom is on the 2nd floor of the house. So to look down, there's the bedroom, and then there's the garage, and then there's the driveway. So I opened the window, and the police right away said to me, are you alone? So I said, well, yes. They said, well, we want you to come out of the house. So I thought, okay, I'll walk out the front door. They said, no, you come out the window.
Oh no.
So I look out the window and down to the driveway, and I thought, oh my God. So I said, well, I'd rather go out the front door. And they said, no, you come out the window. So I can still relive that pain in my stomach. So I thought, well, being a good citizen, I couldn't say no to the police. So I pulled up the screen and I reached out and they said, we'll pull up a ladder and you can climb down the ladder. I thought, oy vey, you know that expression. So anyway, I started climbing out the window and they had pulled a van up against the house, and there were two very tall policemen who were standing on top of the van. And when I reached out, I decided I was not going to look down below, that I would never be able to do it. So I climbed out, and the policemen reached up and they grabbed my feet and they helped lower me down onto the top of the van. And they said, sit down right away, because they didn't want me to fall off the van. So I sat down on the van, and they said, scoot up to the front. And so I scooted up to the front of the van, and I had to get off the van. It was too high for me to get off. And I had a neighbor who reached out his arms and caught me as I came down. So I'm down on the ground. The police are all around. Oh, I have to go back, because when I was ready to climb out the window, there were two policemen, sharpshooters with rifles, and they had the rifles pointed on either side of my head. In case the robber was there and grabbed me, they could shoot the robber.
Wow.
So I got down to the ground. I was cold, and they said to me, you can go sit in the police car. The heater was working, and I sat there. And the FBI were there also. And the FBI came over to me and said, how are you doing? I said, oh, I'm okay. And then I said, I'm worried my husband is not home, and I want him to know where I am and how I am. And I said, I think that he's at Willard Woods, because he goes there to take the dog for a walk. So the FBI guy said, tell me the car, what kind of a car you have. And I told him, and they said, what about the license plate? I said, I don't remember the license plate. Then he said, does he have a cell phone? I said, yes. And they said, what's the number? And of course, I didn't know the number. But I said, just be careful, because my dog is with my husband, and you have the police dogs, and I don't want the police dog to fight with my poor little Poochie. So, so what happened? So finally, they went into my house, and the police, the way that they got into my house, the ones that climbed on top of the van, climbed into the window that I had come out of, and they went in and they came out and they said, it's okay, you can come back into your house. So I went back in, and we were sitting at the table, the kitchen table, and there were police there, and the FBI person was there, and some neighbors even came because they were interested. And I had a jar of mushrooms. They weren't real mushrooms, they were meringue mushrooms that a friend had made. And she made them in the shape of a mushroom, and she dipped them in chocolate on the bottom to make them look like mushrooms. And so I said to everyone, why don't you have one of these mushrooms? They're not psychedelic. I meant psychotropic. But anyway, so we all had a mushroom, and we sat, this was hysterical, and we sat around the table, and we chatted, and then everybody left. So, a little while later, my husband comes home, and he said to me, "Wait till you hear about my morning." And I said to him, "Wait till you hear about my morning." Well, he was sitting in the morning, he was sitting at the kitchen table and doing the crossword puzzle, as he always does. And a fellow came to the back door, who was the robber. And he was a little disheveled, and he had some blood on him. And he said that his car had crashed, and could he come in and could he call his girlfriend at the mall, at the Burlington Mall. So my husband figured, well, okay, the poor guy, my husband did not know that the guy was a robber. And so he let the guy in. The fellow makes the phone call, and he can't reach his girlfriend. So he said to my husband, "Will you take me to the Burlington Mall?" So my husband wanted to get rid of him, so he didn't really want to take him, but he figured, okay, I'll take him. So they went out the house. My husband, the robber, the dog, and they get into my car, in the car, and the police are all over the place. And my husband started driving the car and went around the corner to go onto North Street. And the robber saw the police car. He said, "Why don't you go the other way?" So my husband said, "No, this is the fastest way." Anyway, as soon as he made the corner, the police stopped him. And the policeman said to the guy, "What are you doing here?" And the fellow said, "Oh, I'm with my friend," pointing to my husband. And then the policeman said to my husband, "Do you know this man?" He said, "I never saw him before in my life." Well, anyway, so the police called for help, and they grabbed the guy out of the car, and they took our car to check it over. I forget what it's called. And then my husband went to the police station to write up a report. And while he was at the police station, they came out and they had a paper bag that was filled with bills. And they said to my husband, "Is this yours?" And he said, "I wish it were." Anyway, I have to finish up quickly. So after Max told me his whole story, then then we got calls from all the TV stations, and they came and they videoed us, and we were on television. And I have to stop. Thank you.